as the older generation moves on from their careers, they retire, that type of thing, there's going to need to be someone stepping into those shoes, and they are going to bring a different viewpoint or a different perspective.
You are listening to the 10-4 at R4 podcast, recorded live at RE/MAX R4 2020 from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. In this episode, we discuss
Young professionals
with
Inmar Barrera
of
RE/MAX Diamond
from
Tracy, California.
Now, here are your hosts, Jesse Peters and Michael Thorne.
Welcome to the 10-4 at R4 podcast. I am Michael Thorne of RE/MAX Lifestyles Realty in Langley, BC, and in the co-host chair,
Jesse Peters from RE/MAX Executives in Winnipeg, Canada. How are you doing, my friend?
fantastic. And we have in the podcast studio one of my favorite humans in and outside the real estate industry, Inmar Barrera.
How many people do you say that to?
Well, you'll go back. There's
Four today already.
There's 24 episodes. You'll see how many I said that to. You're good to go.
All right,
You're good to go. You know, a 10-minute podcast goes pretty quick. So let's just jump right into it. One of the exciting things about doing this podcast is we got to sort of identify some people that we wanted to sit down and have a chat with and have them sort of decide on topics. So we'd cover everything. And when we chatted, you were like saying, let's talk about getting more young people involved in organized real estate.
Yeah.
So let's just start off on the 30,000-foot view of that. Why is that something that sort of resonates with you or is passionate for you to get more youth involved?
Now, let's put a pause there, because thoughts are running through my head. And if they're running through my head, chances are they're running through someone else's head. Can we get a definition of organized real estate?
Sure.
Yeah, I would say organized real estate would be considered as like your local association, your statewide association, or province. I'm trying to work the Canadian lingo.
Awesome, dude.
That's why you love me.
Yeah.
And national, at the national level as well.
Directors and vice presidents and presidents and all that stuff.
From smaller councils, all the way up to presidents of like NAR.
Yeah, my business partner, the amazing Jordan Mazie, just finished up her term as the president of the board, and I think generally the people that are in organized real estate have established careers. And most real estate careers starting later in life anyway. Quite often we see that being a much more mature representation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so why is something like getting more youth involved in organized real estate something that's important to you?
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because you and I and Jesse always end up talking about community involvement because it's a big part of how we get ourselves out there. But another reason why we do that is because we're stewards of our community, right? And one of the responsibilities that I think we as agents have is to make sure that we're representing all of our community's interests. So, and as younger professionals or as young agents become involved in the industry, they tend to forget that people look to them. Their clients look to them for them to fulfill those responsibilities. So they think that selling a home is just one. They don't realize that it's just one aspect of taking care of their clients' needs.
There's a reason why we have generations. It's a reason why we identify baby boomers or Gen Xers. That they have different desires and wants and importance. That's I hope that showed up on the GoPro.
Right.
That's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
And so what is it about a younger person in organized real estate? Do they bring a different
perspective? Absolutely, yeah. Because I think a lot of the leadership that is in real estate is of an older generation. So I think younger professionals bring a different point of view that maybe they don't consider when making decisions. And so that's a really big, important viewpoint that needs to be considered, especially as the older generation moves on from their careers, they retire, that type of thing. There's going to need to be someone stepping into those shoes, and they are going to bring a different viewpoint or a different perspective.
Well, and that's the thing. As society grows and changes, not everyone always has their finger on the pulse
right.
of the journey and the life events that are going on. And those major life events are quite a bit different decade to decade, generation to generation, right? And sometimes, like you say, Inmar, having kind of some fresh views in there, right? Push beyond the mold that has been formed over the previous decade, but which is needed. But that doesn't happen, right? If no one steps in and says, I'm here to make the change. You can talk about it all you want, but until you actually step in to be a part of something, the change never really starts to roll forward.
Exactly.
And I think there's a lot of aspects of technology that has impacted the real estate industries. And I'm certainly not one to say older agents can't grasp technology.
Not.
I'm not saying that at all. Some of them crush it. But generally, the more aware when it comes to tech, there's a lot of issues that boards face when it comes to technology.
One of the things that we were talking about recently is coming soon, and it's been a big topic here in the States in general. But yeah, in tech as a whole, I think a lot of people are averse to it. And so the younger generations, the younger agents that have grown up with a cell phone in their hand, that don't have this fear, have a different viewpoint of how things maybe could work, whereas some people may not even want to hear the the perspective.
One of the advantages I have is I've been at this for a long time, 26 years. You know, a board or an organization didn't have to deal with like massive swings and changes from 1990 to 2000. Very little changed.
Very little. And then in the last 5 years,
it's going to be constant. And the idea that it's just, okay, we got through a road bump of change. I think change is going to happen consistently all the time. And there has to be some sort of nimbleness that comes to agility that comes to organized real estate. So if the issue is there's a benefit in having more youth in organized real estate, how do we do that from a national level, from a local level? How do we encourage more young agents to get involved?
Yeah, it's really hard to get younger agents involved. But I would say one of the ways to do so is finding a mentor within your local board that knows you, because sometimes I think younger agents face like a struggle that they may not get taken seriously. If younger agents kind of have like a meetup or a get together, some sort of mix or something like that, they're seen as partying, right? When they really are trying to get together and maybe tackle some issues that they may see differently, or just kind of get their foot in the door. So one way is to find a mentor. Also get involved in your local board if your board has a young professionals network or something similar to that, just to get plugged in and start getting recognized. They will start noticing that you're not just there to have a drink or mix and mingle. You're listening and paying attention, and you have a voice too, because you're also working in the industry. You wouldn't be there at whatever meeting that they're having, or you wouldn't be raising your hand if you didn't care about your career.
I think it would be false to say that having more youth involved in organized real estate will benefit the youth of organized real estate or the youth of homeowners. I think having more youth involved in organized real estate will help mature real estate agents.
Absolutely.
Will help the industry at large, will help all homeowners. It's not like I think there's a lot of benefit a younger mindset can have on the older generation that are involved in organized real estate.
Yeah, I think once they realize that they're there to help, to be a benefit, and to push along the issues that all property owners and homeowners face, I think they become more amenable to them being there and then pushing them along and guiding them along into more like leadership roles.
Now it's time for the R4 Rapid Four.
All right.
What is this the Devil's Dice?
It is. At the beginning of the
Inmar
podcast,
edition.
Oh no.
At the beginning of the podcast, we asked Inmar Barrera to roll this yellow die 4 times, which he did without asking why he was doing it. In fact, no one has asked us why.
There's full trust here.
There is.
I consider you my friends. We'll see after I walk out of this booth.
In Jesse Peter's hands are 10 nonsensical, silly questions that we would like an answer on. His first roll of dice, Jesse, was number 10.
Oh my.
If a movie were made about your life, who would play you?
Oh man. You know that I don't remember his name. It's Michael something.
Pena?
Michael Pena. I think we have a very similar look. I'm going to go with that.
And you know the thing about Michael Pena, I love him in all movies. I think that he'd be a
What's
cool...
one of his movies?
Oh, he just... he's in a... Oh, my goodness. There's tons of them.
Yeah.
He was in that one, that police one where...
With, yes,
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
a
a
good
dark
movie.
comedy. It's amazing. You would recognize him instantly.
Yeah. Can't
But
remember the title, but yes.
But I think about Michael Pena, when I see him, I'm like, that's a
Looking
dude
that
I could
one
hang
up.
out with.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good answer. Next roll of dice, number 2.
Scent, C-E-N-T, and scent, S-E-N-T. In scent, S-C-E-N-T, is the S or the C silent?
The C.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. My son wrote that question, and it's hilarious. Number 4.
Nonsensical for sure.
Number 4. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done?
Man. That's a tough one. I don't know that I give off any like vibe where like they would be like, oh, he definitely did that wrong.
He finally robbed the car.
Right.
We've been waiting for it to happen forever.
Man,
He walked out with a watermelon
Can I-
juice and
can-
forgot to pay.
yes, yeah.
'Cause you were
I robbed a
social.
Starbucks. I walked out of a Starbucks without paying. I grabbed my drinks and ran.
Always pay with the app in advance.
Yeah, let's just say theft.
And the last one, Jesse, number 3.
Great realtor question. What is the weirdest thing you have seen in someone else's home?
Oh, I'll say weirdest / creepiest thing. It was a miniature, old, worn down rocking chair with an old baby doll in the corner. Creeped me out.
Saying hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Walked right out.
That brings us to the end of this episode of the 10-4 at R4 podcast with our guest, Inmar Barrera. Thanks for joining us. My co-host is the Witty
Oh, why, thank you.
Jesse Peters, and I'm Michael Thorne. We'll see you in the next one. Over and out.
Adios.
That's this week's episode of the 10-4 at R4 podcast with your hosts Jesse Peters and Michael Thorne. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Thank you for watching.